This is your WW3 news of a Friday morning. The outlook regarding the Middle East. Not looking good. Obviously, in the last few days or few weeks, America is accumulating military assets in this region of the world, the Middle East itself. And now there's going to be 3 aircraft carriers to be there. And obviously with their escorts of frigates and other things. Regarding the Strait of Hormuz, looks like there's reports coming out, a so-called naval blockade. 90% of Iranian ships passed by, and they managed to stop 10% Americans so far. And well, any Western government or any government in war will lie about their losses, for starters, have the tendency to, turn down the volume for public relations motive, otherwise they look like dumbasses. Troops on the ground. You need a hell of a lot of troops. We're talking about millions and millions. You know what that means? You're going to be drafted in America. What do you think? Everything is there in place. December, the automatic registration of drafting. In some European countries, they've even raised up to the age of 70. They only do that because they soon be going to war in the near future. Let's place it, put it like that. And regarding the missiles, these missiles, whether it's THAAD or Tomahawks, they are produced in very little numbers, I should say in peace times. And obviously Trump, I did mention in a few videos ago, said to the Ford and GMOs, you have to start making tanks and military trucks and jeeps. He couldn't do that with the War Production Act. Sign that thing, and it goes automatically into action. But it will take some time to do that. Has the American president has the authority to use a nuclear weapon over Iran? Yes, if it's necessary. C4C4. It was stopped by one of his generals last Saturday because he was so pissed off he wanted to bomb Tehran. But who's really interested in these peace talks? Who went to the Pakistanis to ask for these peace talks? Well, certainly the Iranians. And then they went crying to Pakistan and say, please, 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 can you call the Americans, sit around the table for peace talks and do kumbaya? No. So far, these attacks on Iran only reinforce rallying around the flag for the Iranians to defend their country, their sovereignty, and so on. It was Americans which went to Pakistanis to have the Iranians drag. How many times was this the third time at the peace tables? And they didn't show up because they know they will get stabbed in the back by Trump and his administration. And the consequences on world economy, we could be talking about 1 billion barrels of oil less in the next few months. That's what some analysts forecast. You got to have a look of the global consumption one day of crude oil, not just for fuel, for industrial purposes, manufacturing. And it's not just fuel you get from out of it, you need plastics. There's even other types of things which you can do with plastics. China, this could be a good occasion to get their hands finally on Taiwan. And obviously, the rare minerals which America needs for his war machine comes mainly from China. But You can always knock on the door on Australia. They don't have so much of this stuff as the Chinese do. And obviously the Chinese, in this case, in the last 5 years, have been stocking up. They've got rid of their treasury bonds, they sold their dollars, and then they got half of it. And it goes to show, if our countries follow suit to sell their so-called dollars, or treasury bonds, American treasury bonds, or petrodollars, you should say, and people start trading with the currency of the RICS, and this was already on the tables years ago, this danger. What can you say? Will Trump be reckless? There's a high probability, yes. They say they're winning this war. They're not. They are just dragging themselves into quicksand, and quicksand, you know, you're slowly sinking inside it if you're not aware to find a way to get yourself out of that mess. He'll probably may go for an off-ramp situation to get out of it. It's easy to escalate the situation, but to de-escalate is a lot more harder. And the cost of the military war machine in the American Middle East daily, we're talking about $1 billion a day, or even $2 billion costs, running costs. And you know how Trump is. He likes to attack when the world stock exchanges for the weekend are closed. So you're probably hearing on the Saturday morning some news from the Middle East. Yes, the war has started again in the Middle East, but this time around it's going to be more heavier. And obviously the Iranians have recalculated their defence strategy and stuff. And don't forget, there are always third parties studying this war, the Chinese and the Russians and the North Koreans. Very useful information for them. Oh yes.